welcome back to David's Garage. Say hello to my new machine. This is a Steyr-Puch, and in a way, it's kind of the original G-Wagon. So back in the day, Mercedes-Benz was impressed with Steyr-Puch's off-road capabilities and the research. Mercedes invested in them and together built the first G-Class. In a few countries, they were actually sold as Puch G-Classes. Kind of interesting, and I think even today the new G-Class, new G-Wagons are built in Austria with the same, with help from the same brand. So, what is this? This is a 1968 Haflinger, and Haflinger is the name of an Austrian breed of sure-footed horses, which is exactly what this thing is. This might look like a ridiculous machine, and well, it kind of is. But it's actually a brilliant design. Moving to the front, you can see it's quite high up here, but you actually have quite the angle. And yeah, your incline capabilities are actually amazing. I believe it's 65 degrees. And of course, it is all-wheel drive. But another little thing that the off-road guys will like is you can lock the front and rear diff. And this means if even one wheel has traction, you're moving. You'll notice too, these little rubber supports here, that's for the windshield. The windshield folds down, the doors can come off, and I am missing a few little things. You can see there's kind of a gap here. Originally there was a rear seat that folded out here, and then there's actually another one of these doors at the back, and then a full canvas thing that went over top to the roof. You can see little hooks here. That's where the canvas basically attached to. I'll post a picture up right now. That's what it originally would have looked like. I'm missing a few pieces. When you open the door, you are greeted to the most basic interior I have ever seen. Super minimalistic. All you have is basically one gauge for the speed, and then this little chart that shows the gears and the front and rear locking diffs. These two boxes are for the fuses. This is for the windshield wipers, and this is your headlight. Now I believe this light goes on when you're running out of fuel. This, of course, if you have no oil left, and your ignition light. It is, of course, just your similar clutch, brake, gas setup. And then the shifting, I don't know if you notice on the chart, but it is a dog leg, so first is left and back. But first is basically just a creeper gear. I just start in second. And then, yeah, these are your handles for your differential lock. Here's the front, differential lock rear. And then to put it in front wheel drive. So it's always in rear wheel drive. And then you just pull this to engage front wheel drive. I pretty much always have it in all wheel drive. And you flip up the seat. That is where you fill up the fuel. So your tank is basically right under you. Goofy little setup. So these little pockets here are basically the footwells for the rear seat. Now the whole seat mechanism actually folds up in here as well, like a minivan. And that's also kind of why I have these half gates. So originally there was a whole door here that opened and gave access to the rear seats. This little guy is a toolbox. Crank in here. I have hand cranked it, but the tin in the back, it's kind of sketchy. I feel like it'll get stuck and just like wreck it. And what else do we have? A very old right-hand glove. Ooh. Very nice. So, moving to the back, this thing is powered by a 27 horsepower, 2-cylinder air-cooled boxer motor. Now it's actually a Puch motor, similar to the motors that are in like a Fiat 500 or like the Puch 500. This is actually, it's classified as 700, but it's a 650cc motor. Just honestly, it doesn't sound like a lot of power, but it actually goes pretty good. They're rated for 75 kilometers an hour, which seems crazy to me. But yeah, it's kind of like the Porsche. Got a fan for air cooling, and then it goes, you know, you have your vents and stuff. Kind of interesting. The taillights, you'll notice, this is just cool to me anyway, but this thing is fully road legal. I mean, it has to pass safety first, but it's got working lights, working turn signals, working brake lights. It will be ready for the road, which is super cool. But yeah, let's take this thing for a burn. So 27 horsepower definitely isn't a lot, but it weighs just over 1,300 pounds, so it's basically the same weight as a Mini, funny enough. But it can haul 500 kilos, so just over 1,100 pounds, I guess. And that makes it a half-ton officially. So what is this machine like to drive? Well, it's such a ride. It's so ridiculous, but it actually goes pretty good. It's fairly smooth, surprisingly, and it just seems you can just go over everything. It's ridiculous. You kind of sit upright, like the wheels are almost directly underneath you, so when you turn, you just go. It's hilarious. I didn't even know these things existed until like about 2 months ago. I saw them at a car show, and there's a good reason for that. They only sold 112 officially into Canada, and they sold 336 into the US. So just under 450 in total went to North America, which is crazy. So they made over 16,000 of these things. If you go on YouTube and search up like Treffen, and there's tons of these little gatherings in Switzerland and Austria, and people love them. And rightfully so. It's ridiculous. As you can see, there's nothing left in these windows. They're kind of a vent window. You can take the two tabs off and pull the outside. Fancy. A little ridiculous. But let's do some things that this thing was made for. Off-roading. So let's make sure there's no one on the road. We just go in. So I put it in first, creeper gear, pull the front differential lock, and we're under. No problem. You can actually shoot the second.